So actually, both you guys are probably good at this. I was just talking about, so dropping back to what we were trying to accomplish last week before we went down the introspective rabbit hole, jumping into self awareness and emotional intelligence. We're actually doing self awareness long form last week with Aaron. But was just talking about nonverbal communication and signs of nonverbal communication. Steve, being in sales, and I imagine you have quite a bit of. You've probably gone through some training on this, haven't you?
Just a little bit. A lot.
Yeah, it's super important. Like right before you guys jumped in, it said 80% of communication is nonverbal. So, do you mind sharing what you learned? Because you've probably been through a lot more training than the rest of us.
Well, nonverbal cues, it's kind of funny you mentioned that because this week, like I was talking to one of my directors about how when we're in meetings, a lot of times when I'm quiet, what I'm doing is I'm watching the video feeds to see how people react to certain situations and what we're talking about, especially with customers. Because those verbal cues will tell you a lot about what they're thinking without them saying anything, just depending on the topic, their mannerisms, how they clutch their hands, how their face will, like, let's say it's something that irritates them, they'll turn a little flush. There's always these little things, eye movement, eyebrows. There's so many subtle cues you can pay attention to, and it takes practice. It's an art form, learning how to read those subtle cues. And it's easier in a meeting setting than in person because you're more interactive. There's a lot more around you versus a meeting where you can kind of focus in. But I do find that like your team's meetings and stuff, it's allowed if you have someone that's able to watch those cues, which I do a lot on that stuff, that allows me to tell me what the customer is thinking.